I wanted her to be calm. I wanted her to be better.
Yep.
And so I didn't call anybody because I didn't want her upset. I thought we could get through it, and she would be more. And
when were you hoping that you were going to turn the corner? When do you think that was going to be?
But that was only a short time where her stomach was lesser, I thought. So I didn't even feel like I had time to process. Like, should I have taken her out?
A 23-year-old dies unexpectedly, but officials knew there was more to the story after finding out the victim was just 70 pounds at the time of her death.
So I'll give you a number so you can understand why we're asking these questions. So at the autopsy, so the autopsy was on the next day, she weighed 70 pounds, okay? She's 65 inches tall. Her BMI is into that level where another doctor says,
I know she was,
your organs start to fail. And your body shuts down, and you're literally starving to death. The malnutrition kicks in, the dehydration.
We're taking a deep dive into this chilling case as authorities say the person responsible for her death was the victim's own mother.
What do you think, if you could, Amy, if you could go back in time, what would you do differently?
Take her in.
Do you say that take her in because she's passed away now, or?
This is Inside the Crime presented by Law&Crime. I'm Elizabeth Millner. Now, just to give everyone context about how much weight the victim lost, the victim's doctor noted at her last visit she was around 130 pounds. But the doctor also noted the victim hadn't been taken to the hospital since she was 17 years old. This all began with a call to 911.
911, what's the location of your emergency? Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
I just found my daughter outside in her sleep. She's in her bed.
Do you think she's beyond any help?
Yes.
She's beyond any help?
Yeah, she's gone.
Okay. All right, I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm getting help started on the way to you right now.
Okay, I'm, Unit C is the door in the middle of the building.
Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
All right, how old was she?
She's 23.
23?
Yes.
All right. I'm just working on getting help on the way to you.
Okay.
Okay, is she awake?
No.
Okay, is she breathing?
No. She's cold.
Okay. 1 second here. I'm just working on getting help on the way to you. These aren't delaying the questions at all.
Okay.
Do you think she's beyond any help?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, when was the last time you saw her?
Last night, before bed.
And was she sick at all?
No, she just was a little tired and didn't want to eat as much the last couple of days, but nothing, they don't always tell you what,
Okay. All right. I'm just letting the responders know what's going on here.
Okay. I'm late here.
Is anyone else in the house with you?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
I'm sending someone to assist you. Please leave everything as you found it. Is there anything we can do for you?
No, thank you.
All right. They'll be there shortly, okay? Do you want me to stay on the phone with you?
No, I'm okay.
Okay. And what door should they go to when they get there?
The front door.
The front door?
It's in the middle. Mine's in the middle of the building.
That call was placed on January 4th of 2023. Waukesha County detectives in Wisconsin ID'd the caller as Amy Laskiewicz. According to court documents, emergency responders confirmed what Amy said on the phone, that her daughter, 23-year-old Cora Laskiewicz, was beyond any medical intervention. According to court documents, emergency responders confirmed what Amy said on the phone, that her daughter, 23-year-old Cora Laskiewicz, was beyond any medical intervention. Deputies located Cora, who was found lying on her back in a bedroom on the second floor of their condo. Only Amy and Cora lived in that area. They also learned Amy was Cora's sole caretaker and guardian because Cora was diagnosed with severe autism. Deputies were seemingly startled by Cora's appearance. They noted she was extremely thin. Her eyes were sunken, and so were her cheeks. Amy told the deputies she wasn't working at the time because she had to be her daughter's full-time caretaker. And there was something else Amy said to the detectives that, to me at least, was also pretty shocking. Amy told the deputies her daughter hadn't left the house since the COVID pandemic. That's important here because Amy called 911 in January of 2023. COVID shut the world down beginning in March of 2020, meaning she's been inside her home and hasn't left for 3 years. According to court documents, Amy told investigators her daughter didn't have a history of medical problems, nor was she taking any medication other than vitamins or probiotics. As Cora was found extremely emaciated, Amy claimed her daughter did eat snacks but wasn't able to regulate her own diet. So Amy claimed she urged her daughter to finish her food. The day before Cora was found dead, Amy said she made her some homemade vegetable soup. She tucked her into bed, and when she woke up, that's when she discovered her daughter wasn't breathing. So could this have been a natural death, possibly even an accident? Well, Amy was brought in for questioning a few weeks after Cora's death.
What was a typical day like for Cora? And I guess that would vary from when she was younger through as she got older. But so when she was, let's say when she started going to school, like what was a day like for her? Would she go full time to school? Did she have friends?
Yes. I mean, she knew the people. But I wouldn't say friends. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
She had her special ed
classmates.
Yes.
She would socialize with them though in school. Like she could play with kids.
It's to her ability. A lot of it is they do things together, but they're not really together. You know what I mean? They do things as a group, but not. It's hard for me to explain, and if you're not familiar, it's hard.
Right. I know everyone's on a different level.
Yeah.
Everyone's got different capabilities, so it's probably a mixed dynamic of who can play and who just observes or whatever.
Everything was a lot for her, though. Her was always high. It was always, just really like to go to school. To go home, she just, it was a lot. It was all a lot for her.
So when she was in high school, she went to school full time?
Yes.
Part time? Full time?
Full time.
Did she have difficulties in school, socializing, or?
Yeah, I mean. She was friendly with the kids, but it wasn't like, I'm trying to give like an example or something.
Yeah.
Like the teacher in high school did a lot of like outings, okay?
Okay.
But for Cora, that was very difficult because it's always unexpected. When you're leaving the premises and going, what am I going to find? So they say go bowling. So it was loud and it's a lot. But I think she tried to handle everything the best she could. She would go or she would do.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
And she attended high school through 18, or?
Yes, and then she started the 18 to 21 program. But by the time she was almost done with 18 to 21, she wanted to stop going at all. She totally just didn't want to go to school at all. It was like she was done. And her teacher came several times to the house to try to get her to go to finish the 18 to 21 program.
Okay.
It's not mandatory, so what am I going to do?
Sure.
When did she last go to school?
Right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Like January, and then we stopped going to school in March. So it was right.
Sure.
And then after the pandemic, forget it. That was no. Yeah.
And what was going on after the pandemic?
And she was not going to leave the house because she was so afraid of the masks thing, and she was going to sleep with masks, and because all you saw on TV and all that. It was all. See, their fear is big, and it's magnified more than what a normal person's would be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
I do. So
it's hard.
I can imagine.
Fear is big for them, and.
Was she so going on in her sounds like day to day, almost hour to hour life? Was she ever prescribed medications?
No.
Was that ever talked about with the doctor?
We talked about it, but he said there's also drawbacks from that too, behaviorally and functionally of their bodies. So weighing what that, I didn't.
Okay.
And I don't know if that's the right decision or not, but.
Is that a turning point for Cora as far as the pandemic starting?
Yes.
So not wanting to go to school.
It was downhill from there. That was just so much fear for her and so much.
Okay.
She just did not want to, because she used to go for car rides and we used to go. She might not even go into this, but we'd go for a car ride. And once the pandemic hit with the masks and she'd see it on TV, that just was.
Yeah.
It seems like from being at the house back in January, got the idea that there was this shift in her behavior. As far
In
as
her
like,
mindset anyway,
did she like how did her relationship with you change,
no.
or Sarah even?
No.
No.
She just didn't want to go. She didn't want, I'm not going to school. I'm not going to school.
Right.
I'm not going to school.
Was that kind of her only thing, was school? Like, she wasn't...
That was, yeah. I mean, and then when she stopped going to school, she was fine, really. She was more regulated. My goal for her was always to keep her calm. And whether that's right or wrong, that's really what was my goal. That was my goal. That was my goal always. And, okay, fine. If you're not going to go to school, but, yeah.
But did she have any like favorite relatives, like cousins or aunts or uncles or grandma, grandpa? Any
Well, about the same time there, we used to have my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, my husband's sister and husband, used to come over every week.
Okay.
But then she started, once the pandemic started there again, she did not want them to come in. She didn't want anybody, she didn't want them to come in.
Even, like,
Even to
favorite
visit.
family members?
No. And they came every week. I mean, they were,
And what was, like, why? Like, what was the anxiety about the family members coming?
She just, no. She just.
Was she, like, afraid? Did she have, like, anxiety over
When they
tracking
come in,
COVID?
Maybe that was part of it, but you would never get that verbally, I don't,
Okay. But she was just verbal enough with you that she didn't want visitors, whether it's her sister or her favorite aunt.
Well, you'd know, because as soon as she would start, I mean, what, it's not whether she said or not, it's how she would act,
Okay.
So it kind of
The
got.
last time they came in, she was like putting me in a chokehold. Like, don't worry, don't worry, someone's like,
Wow.
yeah, it was bad.
So you were like her person though, like
Yes,
you were like the last person that she
Yes.
would, I guess, at least be calm with.
yes.
Okay. Which I
And
mean,
even me, she just tolerated it. Sometimes that's really
sure.
That sounds like a full plate. That's the tough living.
I don't know what else I should have done different, and that's honest.
Well, I don't think we're saying that, right? We're just trying to get kind of a picture of, because obviously we didn't come into the picture until a couple months ago and have never met you folks before, and so we're just trying to get our brains wrapped around what kind of life was like at your house. And
one note,
kind of challenging, right?
one note I made too, the question I was thinking of, because I didn't know what Cora's, level was, and I know it was mentioned that, you would make her meals and stuff, but did she ever get into things that she shouldn't get into, like a toddler would get into, like,
She was more like one time she took a round of scissors and cut off all her hair. All her hair, all of it, down to the nub. And she didn't have not one speck of blood. She did not cut herself, not once, but she had no hair left.
Wow.
Okay.
The teacher, Jill Thomas saw this. She took her and tried to get the rest of it like shaved off, but other families were asking if she had, cancer. Yeah. So she would do things. She'd write on the wall. She would do things that you'd have to always watch, but
Right.
she wouldn't really.
You didn't have to lock up your cleaning supplies like you
No,
would show,
no,
like
she
my
wouldn't
kids
really.
gave it like little stickers or
No, it would just
Mr.
be like,
Yankee.
messy stuff, like take stuff out and do stuff, but not.
But you weren't worried she was gonna like
No,
eat
no.
cleaning stuff, or I'm just trying to rule out, did she get into something, or
No.
So that wasn't typical for her. She
No.
didn't okay.
Like, would she take care of herself, like shower herself or bath, so you'd have to do that? Okay.
And that was always she didn't like to do that, so it would definitely be a.
Struggle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not like a physical struggle.
No, but you would have to be like, okay, yeah.
Was it kind of daily that you, for the bathing, or was
I tried, but the hair washing was always I could get her in the bath sometimes, but then sometimes she would just start to freak out if I even started to do the hair. So I would just leave the hair sometimes, but then, other times I could do it, so.
Okay. Kind of just depended on the day?
Huh?
Kind of depended on her day?
Yeah.
But the bathing was every day, hair washing
Hair was whenever I could get the hair.
Right. Okay.
She, I don't know if it's like water in her eyes or whatever, but she just,
Yeah.
Did she dress herself, or that needed?
I mean, to some degree, yes, I handed to her, and she, Basically, if she would just do nothing, if I did, she would never get dressed ever. She would never done anything if I didn't do it, yeah.
Right. So it seems like if she needed to be bathed, or she needed clothes, or she needed lunch, like it had to go through you.
Yeah.
Well, Cora's autopsy would reveal a lot more. We already know when deputies initially saw Cora's body, she was extremely thin. The medical examiner wrote in their report, Cora's hip bones were protruding. Her ribs and sternum were visible under the skin. Cora's eyes were sunken in, like the detectives noted. But the medical examiner also noted that Cora's skin was displaying turgor, which is when the skin doesn't recover after being pinched, which also means that Cora was extremely dehydrated. The medical examiner said she was weighing just 70 pounds, and her BMI, or body mass index, was 11.5. For reference, according to court documents, anything less than 18.5 is considered underweight range.
When you look at like Cora losing the weight and not eating, I mean, 110 pounds is what you estimated in June. Do you know kind of what?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't.
So that was like the big red flag for me, was like tracking this weight going down and thinking, okay.
I wasn't starving her, I swear. I tried to give her the most that I could.
Right, we were in the house, so there's food in the house.
I try.
I see.
And when she's hiding and says no, it's
sure.
difficult, so.
And I remember just from my own memory, the kitchen, and I just made a note of it mentally because I saw a lot of Ice Mountain like water. So I know that there's food and there's drinking water in the house, right? You buy the Ice Mountain big, like a gallon or a pint or whatever they are, the big things. So she didn't eat a lot. The water, so like my own kids, if they're having digestive issues or they seem
more water, right?
We always get them their little water bottle
right.
and push it on. Did she have a water bottle that she liked to keep with, or did she
I
sip
would
on
keep
water?
I would keep at her, but
what do you mean you keep at her?
To drink, like she didn't want, she didn't carry anything with her. I'd have to, okay, here.
So you had to be proactive.
Yes.
She wouldn't go in the kitchen and fill up a cup of water
on
her own.
Because she didn't want it. She
wouldn't.
Even from a little bitty girl, there was no food or drink. Like the therapy and stuff used to be like, oh, let's give her something that says like food as a incentive. Never.
Yeah.
Food has never been an incentive for her whole life.
Right.
Nothing has she just never liked it. Never, nothing ever did it. Nothing ever.
And growing up with having like the in-home therapy and seeing Dr. Brown, who he specializes in autism, did they ever give you any tips or strategies for food, or did you seek any other opinions on how to?
Yes.
And what were those? What were those strategies they gave you?
About how to get her to eat?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I tried to make everything. I was supposed to give her vitamins, so vitamins were always like a huge thing because she isn't getting what she needs with what she eats. So I always did vitamins.
Yeah.
And then I would always do try to find the healthiest alternative that I can get her to eat. So it would have extra whatever in it that, more bang for your buck, let's put it that way.
Sure.
What type of vitamins were you giving her?
It's a company called Kirkman.
I mean, like vitamin A, B, C, D.
There's a multi. It's called the Super Nuthera.
Okay.
And then I would supplement extra magnesium and zinc, calcium. I supplement extra one of those too.
To make up for what she's not getting through food.
I gave her a probiotic and probiotic.
Was she good about taking the vitamins though?
I would mix them all in water. There's never any pills or any. I would mix it all. I would mix them and then
Okay. She tolerate that okay?
Yeah. Because that she had from a very young age, so I think it was tolerated because it was so many years.
Yeah.
So did you feel handcuffed by Cora's behavior? I mean.
No, I love my daughter.
Right.
And it was hard. I won't deny it was hard.
Right.
But I know I had options. I could have put her in a home. I know that.
Right.
I know I could have. I know she didn't want that.
Sure.
Even when she was in high school, she'd be like, they would take them around to living places where they might live. No, Mom. Stay home. Stay home. Because I said, you went to wherever. No, stay home. Stay home. But she just.
Well, it's like dealing with an aging parent.
Yes.
The same way.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
And there's that hurdle you.
So, yes, it was hard, but I did it because I loved her, and I know she didn't want to be anywhere else.
Right. So,
I don't know what else to say.
Well, all we're, honestly, Amy, we're just trying to, like Detective Conrad was saying, we're just trying to get sort of a daily picture of like how.
I feel like I'm to blame, and are you feeling to blame?
Well, I don't want to make you.
I'm sorry.
So, it's important for us to know kind of
what struggles you had on a daily basis.
I know,
with
but I would
Cora.
never harm her. It's not.
We're not saying
I
you
would
didn't
not
care
ever-
for her whole life. I mean,
Nobody's saying that. We're just trying to get a picture of like how she was. on
And
a
maybe
daily
my
basis.
decisions weren't right, and I can acknowledge that. I probably should have taken her in, but I didn't want to upset her more. I guess that was always such a goal for me, was to keep her calm. Because to send her out, to get her so agitated, that just was so hard for her, and it was hard for me to watch, and it was very difficult.
I get it. It sounds, like I said before, it sounds like it was a very challenging, doesn't even feel like a big enough word to describe kind of your day-to-day. I mean, just to get her to eat seems like a whole production, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you a number so you can understand why we're asking these questions. So at the autopsy, so the autopsy was on the next day, she weighed 70 pounds, okay?
Oh,
She's 65 inches tall. So her BMI is into that level where, and I'm not a doctor, this is
I know
just
she was,
your organs start to fail.
Yeah.
And your body shuts down, and you're literally starving to death. The malnutrition kicks in, the dehydration, and again, I'm not projecting anything onto you. I'm just telling you these are the numbers that we are given, and then when I look at that, I go,
Why would she stop eating? You know what I mean?
right. So tell us about when you would bathe her. Did you notice? So I went to the autopsy. I personally went there, and I could see just her hip bones, her ribs,
But that wasn't
her
really.
pelvis, her tailbone. I mean, it looked. I mean, and
I
I'm not
know.
trying to like
I know
graphically
that.
do anything.
I know.
I just want you to see what I'm seeing. It was just to the point where someone could not be any thinner than she was and still be alive. There was nothing left to lose. And I'm sure you're thinking hindsight, it's 2020. I have the benefit of hindsight, right? I'm looking back on what happened. I wasn't there with you, helping,
See, when
deal
she
with
was
it.
eating more, her stomach was more bloated. So I think she didn't look as thin.
Okay.
But then as the last couple of days, it was like she wasn't wanting to eat. And then it was like it wasn't getting bloated either.
Right. Well, and
And the bloating always made her stomach bigger, so it seemed like she was bigger.
yeah, I would imagine the stomach, right? But I mean, there's kind of a difference, right, between like 110 and 70 pounds, right? Like that's.
And maybe I was all way off when I put that in there. That was
Yeah.
me, I don't know.
But you have eyes on her for the bathing
Yeah.
and stuff. Like, so
And she was getting thin. Yes.
Yeah, she was getting thinner. You could see that.
Yes.
Yeah. And again, like I said, hindsight's 2020. I know you're thinking there's other things that could have been done.
Yeah.
Because at that point, it's if it's a life or death thing, it's like.
But I guess I
Cora, I
didn't
don't
see it
care
that
if you don't want
way.
to go. We are going. If we need to sedate you or strap you into a chair with soft restraints and get you to the hospital and get a feeding tube or something going on, just to get her back,
I know.
just to get things going. Because gut health, something you were doing with probiotics. You gotta. It takes time. You can't just throw food at somebody and then they're magically better, right?
But I was feeding her good all that time, so why would she be declining? Do you see what I'm saying? I don't get
Well, there could have been. I mean, if there was a health issue that was causing her body to reject food or reject water, a thyroid issue. I don't know those things. That's for the doctors to figure out. But there could be something going on with Cora that is separate from what food you're giving her that's causing her not to eat, but that still creates a medical emergency that requires intervention. The solution to her weight declining isn't necessarily push food on her more and more and more. She needs to see a doctor to figure out, okay, throwing food at her isn't working. What else can we do? Or what interventions can the hospital or a doctor do that could get her back on track? And I know you're thinking, again, I'm not trying to make you feel...
No, I did wrong.
Well,
That's it.
well, like when I talked to you on the phone, you said something wrong. And I thought about that question. I couldn't point to one thing that is wrong, but the whole situation in general...
I know the whole
Is wrong.
situation's wrong, and
Right.
I blame myself for all of it anyway.
Well, she ended up passing away at 23, so I'm like, well, that's the wrong thing,
Yes.
because that's not normal, but we want to figure out why. And I couldn't point to one, so there wasn't one thing that was wrong. It was just, we didn't have an answer, and we want to figure out what happened and why.
Detectives were able to get in contact with Cora's primary care physician. According to court documents, the doctor pulled records showing that Cora's last visit with them was July 3rd of 2017, when she was 17 years old. Records reportedly showed during that last visit, Cora had a good appetite. Even the year before, she had a recorded weight of 135 pounds and a BMI of 22.12. So you can imagine how concerned the doctor was to learn Cora's weight at the time of her death.
We're just trying to get an idea of what your thought process was over at last year.
I wanted her to be calm. I wanted her to be better.
Yep.
And so I didn't call anybody because I didn't want her upset. I thought we could get through it and she would eat more and...
Right. When were you hoping that you were going to turn the corner? When do you think that was going to be?
But that was only a short time where her stomach was lesser, I thought. So I didn't even feel like I had time to process, like, should I have taken her out?
Yeah, I mean, we can what if it, we can what if it all day long.
I have a million times.
I'm sure you have. Because I think, like that December,
Yeah.
like had she gone to just an urgent care up the street, I think they would have thrown an ambulance and said she needs to go to the ICU.
That forced fluids.
They would have
sure of it.
They would have been like, oh my gosh, we need to get her. So we can't change the past, right? I wish she would have got brought in to see a doctor in person. And I know why the virtual care was attractive. I understand the reason.
I was trying to help her.
What do you think, if you could, Amy, if you could go back in time, what would you do differently?
Take her in. Yeah.
Do you saying that take her in because she's passed away now, or just looking at the big picture, you think you should have taken her in?
I should have taken her in. I was trying to... My mental state was that I don't want to upset her.
Right.
Like, that was everything. That was always, I don't want to upset her. Obviously, if I knew that she was going to die, I would have taken her in.
I understand. I just because we kind of been going over this, and you said you thought about it a million times since.
Yeah, I should have taken her in.
So here's the thing. Amy wasn't arrested or charged after this police interview. She was free to go. But detectives did what detectives are supposed to do. They dug more into the case. They made contact with Cora's school, who confirmed Cora was enrolled in the 18 to 21 year program that was offered for students with disabilities. Investigators learned that Cora stopped going in December of 2019, before the COVID pandemic, like Amy mentioned in her police interview. Officials with Cora's school told detectives they weren't provided a medical excuse or doctor's note to explain Cora's absence. They did note, though, when Cora was at school, she had a good appetite and would eat all of her food. Sometimes staff members would even share their food with her, too. While Amy admitted to using virtual care visits for Cora, according to court documents, detectives learned Cora had 2 virtual doctor's visits, one in June of 2022, the other in December of the same year. But Amy didn't mention those visits to detectives. During that June appointment, Amy entered Cora's weight at 110 pounds, and the same weight during the December visit, too. When detectives spoke with the doctor who conducted the online visits, the doctor informed detectives she explained to Amy she would need to see Cora in person to make observations. Since Cora's last virtual appointment was just weeks before her death, the doctor said had she known that Cora's actual weight was 70 pounds, she would have told Amy that Cora needed to be seen by a doctor immediately and in person. According to court documents, when Cora appeared on the virtual visit, she was seen wearing baggy clothes and was only seen on video for a short amount of time because Amy did all the talking for her. So Amy was brought back in for questioning a few weeks after her initial interview, except this time she was in handcuffs.
Okay, so obviously you're in here in custody. We wanted to kind of, I know we talked about this stuff a couple times and we've gone through it.
I'm not going to say anymore without a lawyer. There's no way.
Okay.
Perfect.
I'm just going to document that on this form then, and then we'll see if Dr. Shields in shortly.
Yep.
She gets in at 10 and it's 9:53.
How does this work? Do I call someone to get a lawyer? How does this work too?
So you'll go up to the jail, and then you'll go in front of a judge maybe as early as this afternoon, or a commissioner. And the commissioner will assign a bail. Could be a signature bond, it could be money, it could be a combination of things. There'll be an attorney, which is called a friend of the court, which will at least get you through this first proceeding. And then it's up to you with regard to yeah.
Okay, so I don't need to have someone will be appointed right now for...
Yeah, there will be someone to appear on your behalf
for the bail.
For the first hearing, yeah.
Yep.
And you're charging me with murder?
No.
So what the statute or what the criminal complaint says, recklessly subject an individual at risk to abuse causing death.
So I'm charged with abuse.
Causing
reckless abuse.
Yes, which resulted in death. So yes.
And then that comes from, we talked about, and Dr. Shield talked more about it, a lot of things.
That came to the house, her name was different, Dodery?
What's her title?
She's like an investigator. She's a medical examiner investigator.
So she's not a doctor. Dr. Shield's one of, I think we have 2 doctors. She's one of the doctors that does the autopsy, and I think she signs like the death certificate and things like that.
And this was Dr. Shield's case. She was assigned to investigate it and do her tests and perform her duties, and then ultimately report to you as the next of kin her findings. So again, she should be in momentarily. We will then contact her and ask her to come over so that she can take care of her part, and then we'll get you up to the jail. And somewhere along the line, we'll get you into a bathroom.
Do you have any questions of us? I can't ask you questions that are, about this, but I can answer best I can.
Do you need a charge, can someone use my charge card? Does they have to come and use their own charge card? How does this work?
Anybody can pay.
Anybody can pay? They can take my card and pay?
Yeah.
Yep. Or they could use their own.
Do we know how expensive this is going to be?
It'll be up to the commissioner with regards to what your initial bail will be.
So that's where they talk about things like, does someone have a criminal history? What's the nature of the charge? Their connections?
It's never on my bucket list, I'll tell you.
Oh, absolutely. So you're not someone with like a lengthy criminal history.
I have no criminal history.
Right.
I don't even have a traffic ticket.
Right.
Yeah. Which is again why we did what we did and didn't come through your door with a SWAT team and
Are you people familiar at all?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really? The ends of really living with it? Really?
Well, it sounds like it was a stressful environment that you lived in, so.
Yeah, at the end of the day, with the cause of death being starvation and dehydration, and
Isn't that it? When they fight you for everything.
then they go to a doctor,
Yeah.
and she didn't for 6 years. So.
I mean, decisions were made. We're not here to ask about it anymore. I feel like we've kind of covered that a bunch of times already with Amy, but decisions were made and things happened, and we have to do an investigation into it, and it wasn't just Detective Conrad and I who drummed all this up. I mean, these were conversations with the medical examiner, the district attorney's office, and that's where we are, or how we got to where we are today. You asked for a lawyer, so unfortunately I can't. I said you asked for an attorney, so unfortunately I can't hear about any mitigating circumstances or conditions in the house that may have led to it. So it is what it is. Unfortunately, what it is, and you have a right to an attorney, which we're not going to trample on. So let me check if we have a female close by and available that could escort you to the restroom.
Sure.
Okay, but we will get you there sooner than later.
My phone is...
It's out here.
When do I get it back?
It'll be a while.
According to court documents, the medical examiner observed during Cora's autopsy there was no evidence of malignancy or infection that could have caused Cora's dehydration or malnutrition. Cora's cause of death was dehydration and malnutrition, and her manner of death was homicide. As prosecutors alleged, it was Amy who failed to provide her daughter with adequate hydration and nutrition. Amy was charged with 1 count of recklessly subjecting an individual at risk to abuse under circumstances causing death. She was able to post her $10,000 bail and was released until around mid-August of 2023, but was later re-granted bail so she was free to go until trial. But she never went to trial. Instead, in January of this year, she entered an Alford plea, meaning she maintains her innocence but accepts that the state's evidence could likely convince a judge or a jury to find her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
The rights that you give up then are your right to have a trial. Okay. Trial could be in front of a judge only or in front of a jury of 12 people who'd have to decide unanimously if you were guilty. You give up your right further to remain silent and not have your silence used against you. Yes. You give up your right to do the opposite of that, and that is to testify at a trial and present evidence. You give up your right to have subpoenas issued to require people to come to court for you. You give up your right to confront, cross-examine, challenge witnesses brought in by the state, and you give up your right to have the state prove that you're guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay. You understand all of those rights? Yes. And you give those up? Yes. So the charges that you did on or about Wednesday, January 4, 2023, in the city of Pewaukee, Waukesha County, Wisconsin, that you did recklessly subject an individual at risk, victim A, to abuse under circumstances that caused the death of said person, contrary to Wisconsin law. You understand that's the charge?
Yes, I do.
And what is your plea?
I plead the Alford plea.
So you're pleading guilty under the Alford case.
Okay, I'm taking the Alford plea, or I'm not saying this right.
I'm pleading guilty under the Alford standard.
I'm pleading guilty under the Alford standard.
All right, thank you. I'll accept that. And on that plea, I'll accept the Alford guilty plea. And I'm satisfied that the requirements of an Alford plea have been satisfied through the nature of the case and the court's review of the circumstances. I'll accept the guilty plea. I'll find the defendant guilty of the offense charged, and I'll enter a judgment of conviction.
2 months later from that plea being entered, Amy was officially sentenced. According to Fox 6 Now, the judge compared Cora's autopsy photos to World War II concentration camps. The defense reportedly requested for probation. They even argued Cora could have gotten up and gotten food on her own. But the judge ultimately didn't go for that. Instead, he sentenced her to 20 years in prison, even reportedly telling her during her sentencing she had a responsibility to save Cora, and she didn't do that. Online records reveal Amy Laskiewicz is serving her 20-year sentence at the Techita Correctional Institution in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Her release date is scheduled for March of 2045. Thanks so much for joining us on this episode of Inside the Crime. I'm Elizabeth Millner.